There was a time in the United States when your entire life could be decided before you were even born. From sunrise to darkness, you work under supervision. If you were forced into that system, most modern Americans wouldn't last 100 days. This is why it sucked being a slave in the United States, and what those 100 days would actually look like. If you enjoy historical storytelling like this, consider subscribing. Day 1. You wake up in the mid-1800s, decades before the Civil War, when slavery in the American South is legal and protected by law. You're in a cramped wooden cabin shared with other enslaved men. Before sunrise, an overseer calls everyone to the fields. Plantations run on forced agricultural labor: cotton, tobacco, rice, crops that demand constant output. By sunset, your back aches, and on the very first day, you understand something clearly. If you stay here, this is your life. The thought of escape begins immediately. Day 2. Your hands blister quickly. Speed matters. Falling behind draws attention. You study the tree line while pretending not to. You note where the sun sets. You don't know when you'll run, but you know you want to. Day 3. You learn the rules fast. Eyes down, work steady, speak only when necessary. Public punishment keeps everyone calculating risk. That night, lying awake on rough boards, you make a quiet decision. You will not die here if you can help it. Freedom becomes the silent objective beneath every hour of labor. Days 4 to 7. The routine sets in. Cornmeal, salt pork, water. Exhaustion replaces comfort. Enslaved people were denied control over movement, wages, and often family. You begin counting days. 7. If you're going to survive 100, you need more than endurance. You need timing. Day 8. Whispers move through the cabin at night. Someone once ran north. Someone was caught. Someone vanished. Slave patrols were organized specifically to hunt escapees. Escape is possible, but it is hunted. Day 12. A woman in the field stumbles in the heat. The overseer approaches. You step forward and say she was helping you. It's small, but it draws attention. Day 13. You are punished publicly. Brief, deliberate. Meant to discourage solidarity. You return to work sore, but something shifts. If helping someone costs this much, what does staying cost? Days 14 to 20. You begin studying the night sky. The North Star becomes direction. You hide small pieces of food. You map the land in your head. 20 days in, most modern Americans would already be overwhelmed. But survival isn't the goal. Escape is. Day 21. You test your limits. After dark, you slip beyond the tree line and walk a few hundred yards into the woods. Every sound feels amplified. You hear distant movement, not close, but enough to remind you how exposed you are. You retreat before anyone notices you missing. You learn something important. When you run, it must be final. There will be no rehearsal. Days 22 to 30. Blisters harden. You work normally. You appear obedient. Inside, you measure distance. 30 days. You're still here, but you're not here to endure. You're here to leave. At this point, you've survived 30 days. But surviving 100 isn't the achievement. Escaping without getting caught is. And if you fail, there will not be a reset tomorrow. Day 31. Harvest season approaches and quotas rise. Enslaved field workers were often required to meet strict daily picking targets. Falling short could mean punishment or food reduction. Your hands are permanently raw now. The pain doesn't disappear. It becomes background noise. Day 33. You notice how productivity determines treatment. Those who work faster are left alone. Those who slow down draw attention. You adjust your pace carefully. Strong enough not to be punished. Not so strong that you attract a buyer. Day 35. You overhear two enslaved men debating escape. One says the risk is too high. The other says staying is worse. You say nothing, but your decision has already been made. Days 36 to 38. Word spreads that someone was caught several miles away. tracked by dogs, returned publicly. The system doesn't just punish escape, it discourages it through spectacle. You let the story sharpen your plan instead of weaken it. Avoid roads, move through water, travel under cloud cover. Day 40. Rain falls hard. Work continues anyway. Wet fields slow movement, but quotas remain. You think about running in rain, scent harder to track, but footprints clearer in mud. Every condition has trade-offs. Day 42. You begin deliberately working at a steady pace. Too strong draws buyers. Too weak draws punishment. Balance becomes strategy. Day 44. You see the woman you once protected again. No words, just recognition. In slavery, solidarity is dangerous and powerful. Day 46. You're counted twice in one afternoon. Surveillance tightens. Something feels different. Day 48. You begin quietly reducing how much food you eat during the day, storing small portions for later. Hunger now might mean survival later. Day 50. 50 days. If someone told you on day 1 that you would still be here at day 50, you wouldn't have believed it. But surviving is not the victory. Leaving is. Days 51 to 54. Harvest intensifies. Long hours stretch into darkness. Enslaved laborers often worked from before sunrise to after sunset during peak seasons. Your body weakens. Your resolve sharpens. Day 55. You hear that a trader is visiting nearby plantations. Traders meant sales. Sales meant separation. Separation meant distance from the escape routes you've memorized. Day 57. You begin watching the main road more closely. Wagons pass carrying supplies, and sometimes people being transported south. You imagine being moved farther from any chance at freedom. Day 59. You feel eyes on you longer than usual. You adjust your posture, appear compliant. Internally, you accelerate your plan. Day 62. A list is read aloud. Your name is on it. Inspection. Possible sale. In the mid-1800s, enslaved men were routinely sold based on strength and age. If you're moved farther south, escape becomes nearly impossible. The timeline compresses instantly. Day 63. A buyer examines you. You are told to stand straight. Turn. Open your hands. He comments on your build, mentions a number. The transaction is casual. That night, there is no debate left. If you wait, you disappear into another system entirely. Day 64. You leave after dark. No sprint. Just controlled distance toward the tree line. You do not look back. Days 65 to 68. You travel only at night and hide during the day. Swamps, forest, shallow water. Dogs bark once in the distance and you change direction immediately. Hunger sharpens every thought. Day 70. Exhaustion nearly forces you to stop before reaching cover. Fatigue becomes your greatest threat. Day 73. You see smoke from a farmhouse in the distance. Some farmers were sympathetic. Many were not. You stay hidden. Day 76. You misjudge distance near a farm. A man sees movement in the trees. You freeze behind a trunk. Do not run. Running confirms suspicion. You wait several long minutes before moving. You abandon that route entirely. Day 80. The terrain shifts. Fewer large plantations, smaller farms, less visible patrol organization. But the Fugitive Slave Act still allows capture even in free states. Freedom is not just a border. It is law. Day 83. You hear riders at night. Not near, but enough. You move deeper into brush and remain still for hours. Day 87. Your body is weaker than it has ever been. Every step feels deliberate, but you remind yourself, if you had stayed, you would already be sold. Day 90. 90 days. Most modern Americans would never endure 90 days without autonomy or rest. But this is the most dangerous stretch. If you're caught now, there will be no quiet return. Day 94. You attempt to cross a road at night. A shout behind you. You run, not wildly, just enough to create distance. Footsteps follow briefly, then fade. You hide for hours in thick brush. You were closer to capture than ever. Day 97. You approach a small settlement after dark. No organized patrols. No overseer calls. You wait and observe before moving forward. Day 99. You cross into a state where slavery is not legal. There is no ceremony, no applause, just a shift in law. You stand still for a moment. Your hands are scarred, your body exhausted. Millions remain enslaved behind you, but you are no longer owned. Day 100. You wake before sunrise. No horn calls you. No one counts you. Freedom after slavery is not instant comfort. It is uncertainty. It is survival on different terms. But your labor is yours. Slavery in the United States sucked because it stripped autonomy, punished solidarity, criminalized movement, and reduced human beings to property under law. For many, the only path forward was risk. If you had lived those 100 days, would you have run? If you appreciate serious historical storytelling, consider subscribing. We release new videos every week.